Navigating the court system when you're up against a narcissist can feel like you're in an impossible upside-down world. You're telling the truth, but they're the one who seems calm, charming, and believable, while you're emotional, exhausted, and feeling dismissed. If you've ever felt that way, I want you to hear this first. It's not your fault. Let's start by recognizing that the system isn't perfect. Courts and judges are human. They rely heavily on what's presented clearly, what fits their expectations of how a credible person acts, and frankly, who puts on a better show in the moment. Narcissists are masters of performance. They've rehearsed their lines, they appear composed, and they know how to push your buttons so you look like the unstable one. Judges can sometimes mistake this composure for truth and your raw, honest emotion for drama. It's an incredibly frustrating reality. But here's the good news. The truth has a powerful way of surfacing, especially when it's organized, consistent, and meticulously documented. Your gut feeling that something is wrong is valid. Now, let's turn that feeling into a strategy that the court can't ignore. This brings us to our second point. You need to build a rock-solid documentation wall. Evidence isn't just about having proof. It's about presenting that proof in a way that's so clear and orderly, it forces the court to pay attention. The single most effective tool you can create is a chronology, or timeline of events. Judges absolutely love timelines because they cut through the chaos and create order. Get a simple notebook or a spreadsheet. For every event, list the date, a short, factual description, and any corresponding evidence. Keep it simple. And when you're writing this documentation, here's a critical rule. Keep your emotion out of it. You're allowed to feel every bit of your anger, frustration, and pain, but your written records must be the polar opposite. They should be neutral, factual, and short. Narcissists thrive on drama and exaggeration. Your power lies in being the source of calm, objective facts. Think of it this way. Their communication is a storm. Yours is a lighthouse. To make this documentation even more powerful, you need to collect what are called third-party verifications. These are pieces of evidence that don't come from you. They come from neutral, official sources, and they carry so much more weight than a he said, she said battle. This includes things like school attendance and behavior records, notes from your child's doctor, police reports, screenshots of texts and emails, notes from therapists or counselors, and communications with social services. When a judge sees a report from a teacher, a doctor, or a police officer that backs up your claims, they perk up and listen. Their word against yours is a stalemate. Their word against a doctor's note is a checkmate for you. Next, let's talk about how you control the narrative inside the courtroom. This is tough, but it's where you can truly turn the tables. You can't just stand up and declare, "My ex is a narcissist." That rarely lands well and can make you seem bitter or vindictive. You don't expose them with a grand, dramatic reveal. You expose them piece by piece by consistently being the reliable, reasonable, and fact-based party. Here's how you build that credibility. When you speak, do it calmly and slowly. Even if your heart is pounding, take a deep breath before you answer any question. Avoid insults, name-calling, or emotional outbursts. Stick relentlessly to the facts you've documented. Instead of diagnosing them, describe their behavior and its impact. Use phrases like, "My concern is the pattern of last-minute changes to the schedule," or "The pattern I've observed is that communication becomes hostile when I disagree," or the most powerful of all, "Here is the documentation to support this." In the world of family court, clarity and composure almost always beat raw emotional truth. Of course, doing this alone is a monumental task. That's why getting some form of legal support is so crucial. And I know what you might be thinking. I can't afford a lawyer. But a full-time, high-priced lawyer isn't your only option. Look into legal aid societies or pro bono clinics in your area that offer free services. Another incredibly valuable option is hiring a lawyer for a consult-only basis. You pay for a few hours of their time to help you build a strategy, review your documents, and prepare you for court, but you don't retain them for the entire case. Even a single hour with a strategic lawyer who understands high-conflict personalities can completely reshape your approach and give you the confidence you need. Now for one of the strongest tools in your arsenal, asking for court-ordered assessments. Narcissists can put on a convincing act for a short hearing, but they cannot maintain their facade under long-term professional scrutiny. You can file a motion with the court to request a psychological evaluation, a custody evaluation, or a parenting capacity assessment. These are conducted by neutral third-party experts who spend hours, not minutes, with both parents and the children. They are trained to see through manipulation. A narcissist might be able to charm a psychologist for 20 minutes, but they will almost certainly struggle to keep the mask on for 20 hours of interviews, tests, and observations. These reports can provide the court with the unbiased, expert opinion it needs to see the truth. It's also important to remember that court decisions are not always final. If you lost the first round, the story isn't over. You can file motions to revisit or modify earlier decisions. Courts can and do correct themselves, especially when there's a valid reason. This could be new evidence that has emerged, the other parent's behavior exposing their true colors, a clear sign that the child's needs aren't being met under the current arrangement, or any other significant change in circumstances. Many parents who felt defeated initially go on to win long-term stability because the narcissist's behavior eventually catches up with them. Don't give up hope. Throughout this entire process, you must focus on what you can control. You can't control the lies your ex tells. You can't control the judge's first impression or a bad ruling. You certainly can't control the narcissist's Oscar-worthy performance, but you can control your evidence. You can control your organization. You can control your calm demeanor in court. And most importantly, you can control your consistent, stable, and loving parenting. That consistency is your superpower. It is the kryptonite of a narcissist because it's the one thing they can't fake over the long term. When you feel overwhelmed by all of this, please know that feeling is completely normal. You are fighting a battle against someone who thrives on chaos, twists your words, and is an expert manipulator. It is emotionally and mentally draining, so be kind to yourself. Break down big tasks, like organizing documents into tiny, manageable pieces. Ask one trusted friend or family member to just sit with you and help you sort papers. Use checklists so you don't have to hold everything in your head. And please, take breaks, go for a walk, watch a movie. Your brain works so much better when it isn't in constant fight or flight mode. Keep a picture of your child or a note that reminds you why you're doing this. You're not weak for feeling exhausted. You're exhausted because you care so deeply. I want to leave you with this final thought. The long game is where narcissists lose. In the short term, they can charm and deceive. They might even win early victories. But over the long term, their own behavior becomes their undoing. Judges, mediators, evaluators, and teachers eventually start to see the pattern of inconsistencies, the constant blame shifting, the sense of entitlement, and the profound inability to cooperate or put the child's needs first. Your job is to remain the calm, consistent, and documented parent. You just need to hold steady until the mask inevitably slips, because it always does. So, yes, there is absolutely something you can do. You're not powerless. You can reorganize your evidence. You can strengthen your presentation. You can request professional evaluations. You can get strategic advice. You can file new motions when needed. And above all, you can document everything and play the long, calm, consistent game. You just need structure and a strategy. And by watching this, you've already taken the first and most important step. Thank you for watching. If this was helpful, please consider liking and subscribing for more content to help you navigate these challenges. You've got this.